Okay, everybody, it is me, Gregory Mannarino. It is Sunday, April 12th, 2020. I'm doing this video to explain to you that a couple of things are happening that you should know about. And I also want to talk about, crude oil here and its real standing in the world. What it means for the dollar, what it means for you, okay? Let's start off with the news. What did we find out? Well, the Federal Reserve has gone absolutely ballistic. The Federal Reserve is now increasing its purchases of every kind of debt you can imagine, even foreign debt, okay? The Fed is buying it all. And this is no surprise to you if you follow this blog. I have explained this to you in detail that it would evolve and progress to what we're seeing now. And they're not done. Yes, they're buying it all. They're expanding it. They're increasing it. It's going to continue to grow moving forward. This is their final solution, period. Okay. Yes, they are creating cash out of thin air. Keep that thought in your mind. Number two, the Federal Reserve is setting up a line of credit for bankrupt states here in America. To me, this is a very sad time for, well, whatever's left of the old world America. We are already the largest debtor nation in the history of the world. Is going to get monstrously worse here. Again, it's all by design. You know that here. Anyway, it's depressing to me. It really is. So let's move forward here with the dollar and commodities and gold and all this stuff here. I know for a fact that most of you out here have heard of the petrodollar. Most of you. Some people have no idea what it is. It's very, very simple. The petrodollar exists solely to allow the US dollar to be the world reserve currency. When any nation on earth wants to buy oil from an OPEC nation, it has to first convert its currency into US dollars. And then once it does that, it can buy the oil. It's very simple. It creates an environment where there is an ever-increasing demand for US dollars. Now, there's a lot of talk about going back to a gold standard. So the dollar is backed by something. The dollar is already backed by a commodity. The petrodollar exists, again, to have the dollar backed by this mechanism or crude oil. So understanding this, crude oil is the currency of nations. Crude oil is the currency of nations. And you could convert your dollars right into crude oil right now. Yes, you could if you wanted to. So it's fully convertible as well. There's a lot of people out here. I don't know what they're reaching for, some kind of hope that there's going to be a gold standard. There will never, ever be a gold standard. It's not going to happen. The dollar is already backed by crude oil, which is a commodity. The petrodollar exists because of that mechanism. You understand? The US dollar is really not a pure fiat currency. It's thought of that way. I've explained it this way for many, many times. But if you look at this from the perspective of the petrodollar, well, it's easy to understand. If crude oil is the currency of nations, well, then you understand that the dollar is backed by that crude oil because it must be converted. Any other nation that whatever their currency might be, they have to buy dollars first, convert their currency into dollars, and then they can convert that into crude oil. It's very simple. It is very simple to understand this concept. So the nonsense, the utter garbage that people are being fed by I don't know who about going back into a gold standard, it ain't happening. It is not happening in our lifetime. Not only that, I want you to understand this. The petrodollar. The petrodollar also exists because anyone that chooses to circumvent it will be destroyed by the entire military might of the U.S. armed forces. Again, I've covered this. It's an incredible situation. Ask most members of the military if they realize, of the U.S. military, if they realize that their lives are on the line. They have sworn to defend the petrodollar. That's the truth. They don't realize it, but that is a fact. OPEC nations have agreed to price their oil in U.S. dollars for guaranteed U.S. military protection of that oil. So does it make sense to you? Crude oil is the currency of nations. Crude oil backs the U.S. dollar or the petrodollar. I don't think you understand, people who are on this fantasy of a gold standard don't understand what is behind the petrodollar. I urge you to do your own research and understand this. The mechanism of the petrodollar is absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. And its power is literally invincible. For the petrodollar to die, we would need a world war. A world war. And will we ever get to that point? I don't think so at this point. The U.S. military might is so absolutely awesome. No one is going to threaten the petrodollar. You can dream about it. You can fantasize about the petrodollar going away. It is never, ever going away. Period. The end. And again, just to push this point home, the U.S. dollar is already commodity backed. The petrodollar. I don't know what else to tell you, but that's where we are at. So again, let me just summarize real quick. The Federal Reserve is increasing and expanding its purchases of every type of debt you can dream about, even foreign debt. The Federal Reserve is increasing and expanding its dollar swaps, which I told you was happening before everybody else knew, with central banks around the world. And the Federal Reserve is setting up a loan program for bankrupt states here in America. Anyway, I hate to see this unfolding in our whatever's left of our country. We are now more enslaved than we ever have been. The power right now of the New World Central Bank, the Federal Reserve, the petrodollar, the U.S. military might that backs it all, is frankly the greatest force on earth. There is nothing that comes close to it, and it will never go away. If you understand these concepts, if you can clear your mind of what maybe you've been programmed to believe, maybe you never thought of the U.S. dollar being backed by crude oil, being that crude oil is, and this is, you can't even argue, is the currency of nations. And you all understand how important it is for the price of crude oil to be propped up. Why do you think they want to prop up the price of crude oil right now? Why do you think crude oil has been so overvalued since forever? They got to keep it propped up, and they're working on doing it now with this production cut, with demand falling off of a cliff. Right now, in my opinion, and I called this so spot on, it's frankly scary. I don't know who else did. I explained to you for over 2 years that the real fair price of crude oil was between $25 and $27 a barrel. Well, we hit that target. We went through it. Now we're going back up a little bit. If we're maintaining that $25 to $27 a barrel range, that's fair value in my opinion. And I think it's going up. I think they're going to find a way to prop it up. They always do. And again, why? Because the crude oil backs the dollar. It's very, very simple to understand. So for those people that are still stuck in the delusion of a gold-backed currency, why do we need it? Why do they need it? We would love to have it, we the people, because that would create a wealth-based system. This system benefits them. It does nothing for you and I. Period. The end. And that's the way it's always going to be. It's always going to be. They have so much power and control. Nothing can stop it at this time, especially in this new America that we have now. And we're watching the Federal Reserve, the New World Central Bank, take over the entire planet. That's what we're doing. We're stuck in our houses, and we're literally seeing it happen right in our face. That's it. I'm out of here. Love you a lot. See you in the morning.